Hello to you and welcome back to Relationships at Work, the leadership guide to creating a workplace we love. I'm Russel Lolacher. I'm a communications and leadership nerd with a couple of decades of experience and a heap load of curiosity on how we can lead and work together to improve the employee experience. This show is a great resource to help us with that. Every week on the show, I talk with a local or global leader on topics that are here to help us improve the workplace. We've tackled topics like imposter syndrome, diversity, equity, inclusivity, belonging, activism, burnout, mental health, so many topics. We've built quite a little library here as a resource for those of you trying to improve your workplace. And now, as an added bonus, I'll be sharing an additional mini episode pulled from the pages of our weekly Raw Note, which you can still subscribe to. This is just a quick, under 10-minute, valuable bit of information on top of the regular show, which drops every Tuesday. So the Raw Note I'm passing on to you this week is: recognition is all about the relationships. Great job. Loved your ideas. Really appreciate all your hard work on this. We love hearing the kudos. Sometimes with grand gestures, sometimes organically at our desks. Who doesn't love to feel appreciated? The challenge with this, from a leadership standpoint and an understanding of our impact on culture, is not all kudos are created equal. We need to understand that how kudos and recognition are received is directly tied to the relationship between the giver and the receiver. Just because a leader makes a point of appreciating a member of their team or someone in the organization, either privately or publicly, it doesn't mean it actually has any value. Because communication 101 here is, it's not so much what is said, but it's also understanding what is heard and the meaning of those words. Communication is not a simple thing. If that employee doesn't respect the leader for a multitude of reasons, maybe they feel they only manage up, or they see that leader as historically dismissing their work or taking credit for it, or the leader talks behind their back or feels the leader is doing it just to look good to their superiors. If they have a different idea of that individual and how they show up at work, it's going to reflect on those kudos. It flavors the words being used, regardless of the meaning and intent behind them. Even with the best of intentions, it could actually hurt the relationship further. So how do we provide that recognition when the relationship is uncertain? Now, spoiler alert here, we also shouldn't assume the quality of the relationship. We should always assume that it's a relationship that needs work and nurturing. We just can't assume it's great, especially in new relationships. I've seen leaders actually say, "But we're all friends here, right?" when someone proposed needing privacy to share their thoughts. It absolutely wasn't the case in this particular instance. It was not all friends here. No friends had been established. It hurt building any future relationships with that statement being used. And I know they meant it, but they didn't know the environment in which they were saying it. So what do? The first thing I would suggest is feedback and communications. Ask our colleagues directly about their preferences for recognition. Even if the relationship isn't great, having that interest and that consideration will mean a lot. Some employees may appreciate public recognition, others might prefer private acknowledgement, and regularly seek feedback to understand what types of recognition are most meaningful to each individual. It's an ongoing dialogue, and it might change, so don't just think of it as a one-off. Another way you can do that is observation and recognition styles, really understanding them. We need to pay attention to how employees react to different forms of recognition. Some employees might smile, some might express gratitude, maybe they're become more engaged when recognized in a specific way. Others might not respond as positively. Maybe they might squirm, stop making eye contact. Understanding these cues can really help us tailor recognition to each employee's preferences. Next, understand the impact on the behavior and the performance based on that recognition. Evaluate whether recognition has a positive impact on that behavior and performance. If an employee consistently improves their work, maybe goes the extra mile, or demonstrates increased engagement after receiving recognition, particular to them, it might be a sign that the recognition is valued. Maybe it's motivating them. And if it doesn't, recognition or recognition specifically from you might not be the thing to drive them. And last, but certainly not least, work to create psychological safety. Be honest and vulnerable. Welcome truth to power feedback. Listen more than we talk. Be thoughtful. Having a psychological safe environment modeled by a leader allows for that recognition to have weight and meaning. It needs to come from a trusted source, so we have to actually build trust. Now, please remember that any action to improve culture or invest in best practices isn't a checked box exercise or done in a vacuum, and I hope that these things to consider reflect that. So to truly provide recognition that matters, understand that it must be provided on a foundation of trust, care, and respect, which takes time to build and can never be assumed. And if you don't have that connected relationship at work, those kudos, they don't really mean much. So let's work to get to a place where they do. And that'll wrap up another Raw Note episode of Relationships at Work, the leadership guide to creating a workplace we love. I'm Russell, always really enjoy spending this time with you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it. Please let one other person know that you found value in it, and maybe they should take a look too to share with others. It's always a great way to help the episode grow, and that certainly is never a bad thing. You take care.